Excellencies, distinguished guests and parents, graduating class of 95, Assalamu alaikum. Today we have all gathered here at LUMS to share with the graduating class of 1995 a milestone in their lives. I congratulate them on successfully completing the challenging MBA program. Their joy and pride in this achievement is shared by their family, all of us at LUMS, and particularly the faculty who steered them through an exhilarating 2 years at LUMS. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, after 9 years of operations, we offer several programs for students and executives. And now our main task is to build and consolidate on our current programs. As a result of our past efforts, LUMS is indeed a place where studies blossom and the minds move, where search to know constitutes the highest value. It is becoming a varied and diverse institution where the quality of our faculty is matched by the quality of our students. The climate of learning, the opportunity for growth, and the freedom to challenge assumptions, both old and new, enable us to expand mental horizons and to intellectual capacity. Ladies and gentlemen, how do we see the future at LUMS for the two main streams of learning, the full-time students and the executives? In case of the full-time students, we see expansion in our BSc program, both in numbers and specialization. Currently, various committees are working on examining needs of new areas and developing strategies for their implementation. At the undergraduate level, response has been tremendous, with anxious parents asking us to speed up expansion plans. We genuinely sympathize with their concern, but the realistic situation of limitation of faculty, funds, facilities, together with the requirements of quality, has to be kept in mind. In case of the MSc program for economics and computer science, we plan to have these in place by the time our first BSc class is graduated, namely in September 1997. As far as the MBA program is concerned, we do not plan to increase its size, but offer a greater variety of courses and keep updating our current ones. Regarding the other stream of learning, namely the executive programs, we have had good successes. This was the first full year of operation of the Executive Development Center, and it is pleasing to report that its vast capacity has been utilized with newer short and long-term courses. It is particularly heartening to see more company-specific programs being requested. This shows interest of those corporations and the business community in investing in our human resources development. The Executive Development Center is also emerging on the international executive teaching map. We're running courses for a number of international organizations, such as the Commonwealth Secretariat and UNDP. Many leading universities have expressed a desire to hold joint programs at LUMS. And as the Dean mentioned, we will be holding courses in McGill and Warwick during next year. The nation needs a vibrant and efficient small and medium-scale industry. And to cater to this important sector, our SME Center will develop more programs catering to the specific requirement of the small entrepreneur. We have also escalated our research activities through the Center of Management and Economic Research. We will be holding an international conference in May in which leading academic and practitioners from all over the world will be participating. Our basic theme for the coming years is to build and consolidate in the areas we are currently, rather than branch out into total new areas. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll be happy to know that each year LUMS is becoming more and more a national university. Today we have 320 students, out of which 120, namely 38%, are outside of Lahore. All these are residing in rented premises in the vicinity of the campus. We realize that these rental facilities do not match the ones on campus. By having our own hostel, we will further our goal of being a national university, besides adding to the social and cultural life of the university. To facilitate achievement of this goal, we are grateful to our Pro-Chancellor, Syed Babar Ali, for making a donation of rupees 2 crores over the next 5 years for building a girls' hostel. We hope to commence very shortly building hostels for both girls and boys, as well as a sports complex, and are seeking sponsors to augment the limited construction funds at our disposal and the Syed Babar Ali donation that I have just announced. We are also grateful to all those who came forward during the year with donations to the scholarship and the endowment fund. Ladies and gentlemen, I find it difficult to describe the sense of satisfaction we all get by our involvement in LUMS. For me personally, to work closely with our faculty, staff and students is indeed gratifying. What a capable faculty we have. And one knows how much time and effort they have given in making LUMS the great seat of learning. On many occasions, they have run the extra mile for the students and the institution. We are extremely grateful to the Dean and his team for their contribution and commitment. Likewise, what a talented student body we have. They have shown that given the environment, the facilities, they will search for knowledge, burn the midnight oil, and be second to none. Finally, to the graduating class, I wish to say that with the skills you have learned at LUMS, you have the opportunity to explore, to question, to select, and to create a place for yourself in the business world, which is of tangible value. Value to society and to your country. And while you're away, keep a special place in your heart for your alma mater. It has given you a lot, and you owe it greatly. We look forward to your lasting association with us. We all wish you well, and may your promises and dreams come true. In conclusion, I wish to thank you all, and particularly you, Mr. President, for being with us and sharing this happy occasion. To all our friends and associates of LUMS, I would like to thank you all for your continuous support. I would now request the Pro-Chancellor, Syed Babar Ali, to deliver his address. Thank you.
Guests and parents, the graduating class of 1995. On behalf of the trustees of the Lahore University of Management Sciences, it is my privilege to welcome you here today. As always, we are honored by your presence, Mr. President, on this convocation for our graduating class. Today's gathering is the 7th such convocation. It is, as convocations should be, an opportunity for reflection and self-assessment. LUMS is now almost 10 years old. If one looks back over the past 9 years, one can measure the changes which have transformed the institution from an idea in rented premises to the reality in its own permanent home. If you walk around the campus and meet the faculty and the students, you will share our sense of pride at establishing a university that has set and maintains international standards of excellence. The move to our new permanent facilities have enabled us to double our MBA student body from 45 to 90 students. Our 3-year BSc program is already in its second year. Similarly, our executive development courses are providing a useful forum for stimulating discussion on business affairs. Our faculty and alumni continue to play a significant role in the enrichment of the commercial and academic environment in Pakistan. While all persons are born equal, they do not have an equal access to education. If one scans the list of countries that have managed to improve the quality of life for their people, one sees that education is a prime determinant of human development. Pakistan has been blessed with abundant natural resources and a talented population. It is only through educating the youth and developing managerial talent that we can release these latent advantages and therefore move towards sustainable development. I know, Mr. President, that a vision of a peaceful, stable, and prosperous Pakistan is of prime concern to you, both as our head of state and as a loyal Pakistani. This is possible, I believe, only through better and wider education for all Pakistan. LUMS, like other national universities, is a necessary means to achieve that goal. The effort made during the past 9 years in establishing LUMS has demonstrated that quality education can be provided here in Pakistan. Quality education that can match anything abroad. LUMS is not a foreign university located in Pakistan. It is a Pakistani university with international standards. Such achievements are possible largely through private sector initiative. Nowhere has such institutional development been possible so far than here at LUMS. And this would be the most appropriate time to pause and thank our international business associates for their generous support. Another $1 million in addition to the first $1 million they gave to LUMS 4 years ago. This funding has enabled us to complete the Housing Executive Development Center, which can now provide full residential facilities for 56 participants and a lecture hall for 75 people. The center is operational and is, I'm happy to say, used all the year round to provide courses of different sectors of our national business community. I would at the same time like to acknowledge the role of international institutions, particularly USAID, the UNDP, the British Council, the Conrad Adenauer Foundation, and the Commonwealth Secretariat for their unstinting financial, intellectual support over the years. Now that the university has its own campus with room to grow, it has the ideal foundation to develop its potential. If today LUMS appears to be located on the periphery of Lahore, tomorrow inshallah it will be an international center of excellence. At our convocation this afternoon, we have with us students and faculty from other countries. We look forward to attracting more people from abroad, for they serve to remind us that the world is getting smaller because good education knows no frontiers. The challenges in providing such quality education, whether abroad or here, are enormous. In this regard, I'd like to thank our faculty and staff at LUMS for their continuous enthusiasm and selflessness. Without them, LUMS would not be what it is today. The present overworked faculty is being augmented. I'm pleased to tell you, sir, that 3 of the research associates that we sent abroad for their PhD programs have returned to LUMS and are teaching. The remaining 4 are in the final stages of completing their doctorates. Faculty, though, is one part of the LUMS equation, the other is the student body, and in particular today's graduating class of 1975. As a class and individually, each of you has made an outstanding effort to obtain your MBA degree. It is a qualification which will provide a solid foundation for the rest of your professional lives. An education at LUMS should not only have taught you how to make a living, it is, I hope, also taught you how to live as responsible professionals, qualified managers, and loyal citizens. I hope that during your years at LUMS, you have inculcated the spirit of hard work and a commitment to integrity, ethics, and above all, humility. These values will be invaluable because they will make you educated, not simply literate members of society. Those of you who have already started working will know what I mean when I say that your education is an ongoing process. It will continue if you work as hard in life, throughout your life, as you did at LUMS. This convocation should not be your last day at LUMS. Your linkage with LUMS should be a lifelong opportunity to learn and a lifelong responsibility to your alma mater. Just as some of you needed funds to complete your education here, we need as many funds to educate your successors. Your predecessors have contributed over the years to a scholarship fund, and I would urge you, now that it's your turn, to do so with generosity, for you can, in doing so, promote the cause of education in Pakistan. It is a small investment on your part, but a necessary symbol of what LUMS stands for today and in the future. I would now request the President of Pakistan, Sardar Farooq Leghari, to deliver his address as Chancellor of the University.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. Syed Babar Ali, Pro-Chancellor of LUMS, Governor of Punjab, members of the faculty, distinguished guests, and students, Assalamu alaikum. I feel greatly privileged to be able to come here for the second time within 2 years. I was invited to the 5th convocation and again to the 6th. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it to the 6th. And here I am before you on the 7th convocation. I think you can be justifiably proud of what LUMS has turned out to be. I think the promise of LUMS, the idea behind it, may have been one derived out of the desire to see education spread in Pakistan at the highest levels. It may have been the desire of some people, led of course by Syed Babar Ali, to provide leadership and management for the corporate sector, a leadership that is much needed in Pakistan. It may have been hard-nosed business acumen that brought this idea into being. But now, almost a decade after the initiation, we find LUMS developing into a center of excellence. We in Pakistan have few centers of excellence in the fields of higher learning. But here in LUMS, the faculty, the students, those members of the community that helped LUMS come into being have all contributed significantly to show to Pakistan, to the world, that we in Pakistan can do it. Unfortunately, I myself have had very little input into LUMS. I just happen to be the Chancellor of LUMS. I wish I could have contributed more to LUMS. And I wish we can all learn from the LUMS experience. I do, however, say this again and again, whenever I get an opportunity at an appropriate place, that educationists and planners must learn from the LUMS experience. Only 4 days ago, speaking at the convocation of the Quaid-e-Azam University in Islamabad, which again was a university which started with tremendous promise, had a tremendously promising charter, but which unfortunately failed to match the promise, although it does have its promising aspects and it has succeeded in some areas. But there again, I mentioned LUMS. And Syed Babar Ali has said that it's the private sector that can provide this kind of leadership. I agree with him. I think the private sector has much to contribute to education and higher learning in Pakistan. But in Pakistan today we have several other institutions which have also done well. Amongst them is the JIK Institute, which is even younger than LUMS. And very early on in its years, within 3 or 4 years of its coming into being, the JIK Institute of Science and Technology has again shown us how promising our talent is, what we can achieve. And in the field of science and technology and disciplines which were much needed in Pakistan, we have the beginnings of a real center of excellence in a remote area of the Northwest Frontier Province. Also in Karachi, and here it's a public sector institution. We have the Institute of Chemistry, HEJ Institute of Chemistry, associated with the University of Karachi. There again we have developed a center of excellence in chemistry. And this has also been recognized by the developing and the developed world. And very soon, I think in the next 2 or 3 days, I shall be going there to lay the foundation stone of a center of excellence. I feel that where planning for universities and institutes such as yours is done with care, where it is oriented towards the market and where standards are kept, where merit is recognized and where justice is perceived to be done, you will get the kind of result that you're getting at LUMS. I think we must talk of the LUMS experience and the success here so that the government and the private sector picks up these ideas so that we can all contribute from example and from competition towards raising standards in Pakistan. And the reason why I talk about that more and less about LUMS here is that, of course, we've already heard from the Dean and from the Rector and from the Pro-Chancellor of the achievements of LUMS and the promise and the program for the future. But what we need to do as a nation, as a community, is to learn from the LUMS experience. And I'd like to say that you cannot have LUMS in isolation. It has to have very strong linkages with the community, with businesses, with the sectors that require graduates from institutions such as LUMS. It was wise of Mr. Babar Ali and his associates who started the idea of LUMS to have thought out, identified and focused on the need for business management level leadership. And it was wise of him to have persisted in that endeavor. We've had other such success stories in Pakistan as well. In this very field, even the Karachi Business Administration Institute is one such example. Despite the fact that there has been government interference, its autonomy is not full, they have nevertheless produced people, graduates, MBAs of quality that are in demand in the market. So all these examples, and especially yours, shows that it can be done, that we do not have to send our brightest boys and girls to foreign universities. It is much cheaper, it is less costly to the nation, and I think it is better for the development of our own culture, our society, our economy, if our young men and women, the brightest amongst us, are able to receive quality education in their own country. And therefore, it's important for us to refine our concepts, to create institutions of the type that we see here in Lahore today. I have been talking at great length and almost ad nauseum throughout Pakistan for the last 2 years since I became president about the need to restructure our educational system, about the need to lay much greater emphasis on education, to develop the proper linkages between education at the primary level, at the middle and secondary level, and universities. And I've been saying this again and again. I know I've received a great deal of criticism from editorial writers. They say, why does the president talk about it again and again? And there is a reason why I talk about it again and again. They say, why doesn't the president do something about it? Well, the president is doing something about it by talking about it. What am I supposed to do? I'm not the chief executive of the country. I'm not the provincial executive of Punjab. The president has constitutional responsibilities and he has constitutional duties to perform. I wouldn't like to go beyond my constitutional duties and start upsetting the constitution. But I think at the same time it's important not only for the president of Pakistan, but for every leader at every level to talk about education, to work for it, to do whatever is within his means. I think, and I've said this before, and I'd like to say it before this distinguished audience, that it is very, very important for us to develop a movement where the community can participate in the effort to educate our people. It's a sad state of affairs that more than 2/3 of our people should be living in darkness of ignorance. It's a sad state of affairs, and it's a situation which creates inequity in society. Mr. Babar Ali talked in his speech of the need to provide education to every citizen of Pakistan. I think it is the duty of the state and of society to collectively work towards compulsory be universal education for Pakistanis. Education is the one common leveler, the one area that can provide in the quickest possible time frame equal and level playing fields to our citizens. We talk of every citizen being equal to the other. It is part of our constitution, it is part of our faith. Islam teaches us that we are all humans and we are all equal, and that those amongst us are better who have greater taqwa. But that is for God to judge. For us, it is incumbent that we provide to every citizen of Pakistan an opportunity at least to be educated, at least to be able to learn to read and write, to be literate. But there we have failed, and failed miserably, and I think it is to the shame of all those who have held positions of power and all those who have been leaders of society in whatever capacity, whether as leaders of professions or government or organizations, not to have endeavored sufficiently to be able to provide literacy to all our people. But we have to begin sometime, and we have to begin soon. If we do not begin now, we are going to be left way, way behind. We have already lost many opportunities in the field of technology, in the field of higher learning. We have not provided not only full literacy to our people, we have even not provided the right direction to our education. We've got to provide to society what the society requires. Why is it that your MBA courses are so popular? Why is it that people vie with each other, they compete with each other to get admission here? Well, of course, one reason is that you have very well-structured courses, your faculty is highly qualified, people look up to you, they think you will provide them good education. But a major reason also is that your products have marketability, that when they go out, they get good jobs, well-paid jobs, whether within the country or without. So it's important to know what are the critical areas of shortcoming in our society. And the areas of shortcoming are known. Those areas are the areas of vocation, of technical skills, of technology. Those are the areas where we have extreme shortage of students, and we have shortage of teachers. And these are the gaps we have to fill, apart from the absolute necessity of creating 100% literacy base. And there are very strong linkages between all those different levels and your level, and the postdoctorate and the doctorate level, postgraduate levels. And we need students properly qualified for each of these levels. So when I talk about these things, and sometimes newspapers don't even like that, I don't know why they don't like it, but when I talk about it, I want to start a movement in the country, and I want you to join that movement. People who have had the good fortune of studying at LUMS, I think are more acutely aware of this than anyone else. I know some students who have studied here or are studying here, and I know how hard they work. I know how the faculty pushes them to the limits, and as the Dean said, even beyond limits. And I know how important it is for them to endeavor, to strive and to struggle. And I think they are the people, you are the people, who can lead the movement for improving the lot of your fellow beings. And I think it's important for all of us, in whatever leadership roles we might be, to put in our best and to endeavor to get our unfortunate brethren out of the morass that they are in. And I say this is important for many reasons. It's important for the development of our society, for the development of democracy, for the development of Islam, for the development of our economy. The biggest single constraint on the development of our economy tomorrow is going to be the lack of an educated, skilled workforce, the lack of skills, the lack of technology. And I think we have all got to put in our effort, especially those who are blessed with education of any type, to rescue our country from this present disastrous situation. And I think the experience of LUMS is something we have to harken back to again and again. You found a niche in the market. You found that you could provide the inputs for it, and you did it, and you are expanding. And I'm glad to hear that you are endeavoring to keep up the pace of your development. And as has been said earlier this afternoon, you either keep progressing and rising, or you go down. And I think it's important for all of us to endeavor in that direction. I'm sure all those who have spent hours in LUMS will certainly cherish that lesson. If there's anything they'll take from this university, it will be the desire to work hard and to do well in their professions and to compete with each other and try and excel. And this spirit is what is needed in Pakistan. Right now, most of the graduates of LUMS are feeding the private sector, the corporate sector. Well, they are needed by the corporate sector. Our businesses, our manufacturing industries are changing from the previously managed businesses which were family owned, staffed by people who knew how to count paisas and rupayas, but who really did not know how to manage modern industry. You are the people who will provide the necessary human resources to be able to manage our firms and corporate entities in the future. You will also bring in scientific management techniques, and I'm sure that you will bring a qualitative change in the management of institutions, businesses in Pakistan. We need your association very badly in the private sector. But at the same time, I think the government would also be well advised to associate you in their own endeavors. The government too is staffed by people who are more generalists than good managers. I think in every department of government, in every sphere of governmental activity, we need new approaches. Of course, there are plans, there are some institutions of in-house training in the civil government, but they're sadly lacking in the kind of effort that we see being undertaken here at LUMS. You have a program for training corporate business managers. I would like you to consider the possibility of also associating government officers at appropriate levels in some of these programs to see how they interact with you and see whether they can learn anything from you. In any case, private and public sector business partnerships are going to be the future of our economy. And I'm sure that you will learn from each other. Maybe the government learns more from you than you learn from them. But I think that kind of interaction is important at this level. You might even enjoyed association of government officers with you. I would also like to thank, in addition to the thanks that the Chancellor has, the Pro-Chancellor has already given to the Rousing Foundation family for providing such generous funding for this university. And I'd also, as Chancellor of this university, like to thank all those individuals, unnamed individuals, who have provided funds for this university. I'm sure this attitude of former students of LUMS will also be emulated by the present students who are going to leave very soon, who are graduating today. And I'm sure that other members of the community will also emulate the excellent example that we see here. We've also had association and funding from USA, British Council, and other organizations. And I think we should all be thankful to them for their very generous help to this university. I'd like to also congratulate all those students who are graduating today. I think it's a measure of their own tenacity and their hard work that they've managed to pull through this rigorous regimen that they've had to go through in LUMS. I'd like to congratulate them for having succeeded in doing so. You are the elite of our society. You have striven hard to learn, and you have, I'm sure, in this institution also acquired an ethical frame of mind, because ultimately it's your morals and it's your worldview that counts, and ultimately we all have to die, and ultimately we all have to meet our Maker. I'm sure that those who have worked hard and tried to help their fellow men will be the ones who will feel most rewarded, not only in this world but also in the next world. I'd like to thank you for inviting me again and congratulate all those who are passing out today and their parents. Thank you.